We are salmon. Happy first contact day, Toddy.
Hey, happy first contact day. Hashtag we are salmon.
We are salmon.
It is the day of the salmon.
The day of the salmon. No, I told you just a little bit ago. No one liked my tweet about salmon.
No one liked your tweet about salmon.
No, and
Outrageous.
it's narrated by Ewan McGregor. The video that I included showing how amazing salmon are as they go up and have their salmon runs and
Ewan
whatnot.
McGregor, really?
Yeah.
He's doing
he
salmon
should be in Star
narration.
Trek. Don't you think Ewan McGregor should do a Star Trek?
He should. If they don't want to bring him back for Star Wars because he wants that, and they don't seem to want it, then just bring him to Star Trek. We'll take care of him.
We will take care of them. Greetings to Uncle Art and now my new aunt Jill. So I've got an aunt and an uncle in the chat. So cool. Adopted, but still very, very cool. We're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet So Hail. I'm Boss Boimler today. Over here. I'm Boss Boimler today. That's right.
Oh, hold on. I haven't changed my name.
We're talking about Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4 episode.
Can I change it? Why can't I change it? Oh, there we go. Okay, here we go.
In the Cradle of Vexilon.
It is. Okay, hold on. Let me change the name.
All right. While Toddy changes the name. Oh, look, I've got my tea today. My first contact tea.
Here we go.
Salmon on the tube. Salmon on the tube is a great name for you.
It's a quality name.
Toddy, I've been streaming like a crazy person today. This morning.
I know you've been talking about Discovery. I haven't even seen it. I will see it though.
I knew you weren't going to see it. I knew I
didn't see it on time. I will see it.
There's two episodes.
Yeah, they're trying to kill me. You know, they're putting 2 episodes out at the same time. I can't catch up. You know what I mean?
But I had a great time with Marcelo and the gang. Some of the folks are here now. Jill and Arthur in the audience, they were there this morning too. And so I hope, Toddy, that I don't think you have a long commute, but while you're commuting around or, just folding laundry, you'll listen to our discussion about Lower Decks. But the fun doesn't end there. Today is not only First Contact Day, today is also TQIF, our little tradition that we do on Fridays. Thank you, it's Friday. So after this, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Central Time, 7 p.m., Text Track is going to be on, and they're going to do a deep dive of the premiere of Star Trek Discovery Season 5, the last season of Star Trek Discovery, the last days of disco, as we like to call it. I know it does make you sad, right? Regardless of what you think of Discovery, it's always sad, or any Star Trek show, rather. It's always sad, I think, when a Star Trek show is ending.
Yeah, this is sadder. For some reason, it's weird. It's difficult to explain. I'm not the biggest fan of Discovery. I think people have known that over the years, but this show has meaning for me in the sense that it kind of symbolizes the return of Star Trek, but it also symbolizes like our conversations and this whole community thing. And seeing it go away, it feels weird. Like I kind of assumed that Star Trek Discovery would just carry on adjacent to whatever it is that comes out, and we would just have Discovery in the background.
I don't know why the whole 7-season thing is like a magical number for me. It's not important. I mean, 5 seasons is just as good as any. And remember, the original series was only 3 seasons. Enterprise is only 4 seasons. So Star Trek doesn't need to like have this 7-season recipe. But I was really hoping that Disco would go on for at least 7 seasons. But all good things.
So we've done 1 season, which is the animated series. Hopefully Prodigy will do more than 2, but it looks like Prodigy might be 2. We've got 3 with like Picard in the original series. 4 is Enterprise.
By the way, the animated series is 2 seasons.
Oh, it is. That's right. It's 2.
Yeah,
it's because it's got like 6 episodes in season 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we've got nothing at 1 season, I think, at this point.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So yeah.
So cool. Do we have something at 6 seasons? No, not yet.
Not yet, but maybe Lower Decks could do it, or who knows? We'll see.
Or maybe Lower Decks could be like the 30-season thing. Like they could do a Simpsons kind of thing. It just never ends. Carries on.
Friday greetings to Braxton. By the way, I just want to remind folks who might be new to our little podcast that we love audience participation. So say hi in the chat. And we consider these conversations not just between myself and the guests that are on camera, but also with you guys. So feel free to chime in with some thoughts, things like that. We're not like a super chat channel yet, so super chat channel yet, so we don't highlight only comments that pay. So we try to one day maybe we'll be a super chat channel. Do you have super chat on your channel?
It is active. No one's used it. I think you're the only one that's used it. Actually, I think you sent me a super chat once.
I think so. I send
Just to
super chats
see
to
if it
everyone.
works.
And now the barrier to entry to get those things is even higher. Every time I reach a milestone, it seems like they just want to keep like it's like
Yeah, well,
what was the name? Sisyphus
YouTube
or
has
something like that.
YouTube has an employee that's checking your channel constantly, and based on your growth, they change the milestones.
They're like, oh, Starfleet
Like
Sohail's
whether
almost at 1,000, so we're
oh
just gonna
no,
increase that. It's like
they know they got the guy. He's working on
it. So, anyways, oh, it's such a cute. I'm really enjoying our chat. It's very wholesome. Thank you guys. It's very cute. So, Toddy, did I get everything on the housekeeping? I think, yeah. Oh, and then later tonight we'll do the After Dark show, like around 11.
We
So, for those
apologize
of
for
you,
last week. We said this would be a weekly thing, but last week was,
I know things
it was too
happen. We
tough for
don't.
you, and then it was too tough for me, and then we were trying to figure it out to the last moment, but then I was like, you know what, this is ridiculous. We'll
We
do it. We'll
always
do it properly
try. We
next
always
week.
try.
Yeah.
It's true. Ooh, cool. Salon Trek's here too. By the way, the salon was awesome last night. Go check that discussion out. It's unhinged, but it's a lot. It's fun and it's also very meaningful. I don't know how else to describe it. And Salon Trek says we've gained a whopping 6 subscribers this month. Watch out for our sponsored content soon. Yay!
Ooh.
Salon, you guys will get to 1,000 in no time. You guys have some magic mojo going on over there. I love
The
it.
super chats are coming.
The super chats are coming. It's appropriate that the salon is here for our lower decks discussion, since the idea for the salon was born from a lower decks episode. So that is very cool.
One that I have seen.
Huh?
One that I have seen.
Yeah, that wasn't this season. It was last season.
The
Remember
salon.
this?
When was that?
That was like the party that they were having, and Mariner was
Oh, okay.
invited with Jennifer's
Okay.
friends and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
That was fun.
Yes, it's true. This chat is Sohail's mother approved. In fact, she brought me this tea and now she's watching on her iPad. So cheers, Mom. Thank you for watching the show. My mom makes the best tea. It's really good.
Dream big.
It's the only way to dream, bruh. Bruh.
Bruh.
Bruh.
You're hip with the youths.
The youth. The youths. So, Toddy, tell us what happened in this episode since you just saw it.
I didn't just see it. I saw it last week. I saw it last week, and then when I hit play this week, I was like, oh, but I've already seen it last week. So I thought, you know what, I don't need to see it again immediately. Though I could have. It was a fun episode. What's it called? What's it called again? In the Cradle of Vexilon.
In the Cradle of Vexilon, yeah.
Yes, it is very much an episode about your boy Vexilon, isn't it?
It is. I could read you what I wrote on YouTube. I think this is like a good summary. Maybe I'll just use this.
You want to use that?
Yeah, ready? Should I read it? Here we go. The lower deckers are lieutenant junior grades now, and that means new responsibilities. Rutherford, Tendi, and Mariner have to bear some friendly hazing, and Boimler's in command of his first team, while Captain Freeman uses her minor degree to try and save a unique civilization from peril. Share your thoughts about this episode with us in the live chat or in the comments below. That was a quick summary. That was good. Right?
Friendly hazing is a polite way to put it. It didn't feel very friendly. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, well,
I felt it was a bit rough.
No,
you know what I mean?
Agree. I agree.
Okay, I'm not against
hazing's not good
hazing
at all. Like we should just stop hate. Like people should just not haze. So yeah, I agree. Carry on with your point.
There are varying degrees of hazing, and I feel like sometimes it's more of a nudge into like learning the struggles of like a certain specific like task in life or whatever it is, or in the job. You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes in certain situations, like what could qualify as hazing can have its merits. But I really do think it's based on context. I think it's based on also like the individual doing the hazing and the individual receiving it. You know what I mean? It's a very delicate thing. I think in this case, I don't think I didn't qualify it as friendly. I thought it was a bit insane. I don't know what you think, but
I
it's
mean, I think
funny for like
teasing and
lower decks. You know
hazing.
what I mean? But this
I
was,
think
come on.
Yeah, and I think teasing and hazing, it's like kind of like, there's like the kind of hazing that fraternities do, which I think is like really wrong, like making people do really inappropriate and sort of bizarre things. But then there's like, I think teasing. I think the difference is like there's hazing and then there's teasing, and I think teasing can be friendly and teasing can certainly be in good fun and good spirit. Um but I don't know if I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing.
Okay,
Like
so
there's definitely more attention on bullying and hazing. It's an interesting comment here. Uh Salon Trek says no one talks about the upside of bullying, so I'm glad Toddy is on board with it. I don't think there's an upside to bullying at all. I think everyone feels bad after bullying. Like, yes, you may get
okay,
a
so
result.
maybe what Solon is talking about here is because so I don't know how much merit this had. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever studied this, but there used to be a time where you would do something really cringe at school and you would be kind of bullied for it. And I guess it would give you a nudge to outgrow the cringe. You know what I mean? Whereas now it
Right.
would seem that if you don't ever bully anyone or don't ever nudge anyone, they stay in that cringe, and it might not be necessarily good for the like social or just general development in life. Maybe that's what Salon's talking about. The kind of hazing I was talking about was like, as a pastry chef, um, for those that don't know the way like you would cook bread, like traditional bread, like baguette, that kind of stuff, you need steam in the oven, right? And so basically, there's just like a water input, and you push a button, and it sends a bit of water into the oven, and it creates steam, and that's what makes it like the crust nice and hard, right,
Oh,
on
okay.
the bread. So the hazing would be like you would like the new employee or the new kid or whatever, you would tell them, go get me a bucket of steam, and you would send them to like another store, and they would go and get a bucket of steam, and so they would give them an empty bucket, and then they would have to walk back with this empty bucket, but they've been told that if they open it, then all the steam's gonna fly away. You know what I mean? And they're
Come
gonna
on. Is
and
this
so
real?
it's yes, no, it's real. And
This
so you
happened
got
to you?
you got these 15-year-old kids walking around town with like an empty bucket. You know what I mean? And then there's a lesson in it in that the lesson is like steam is just water, bro. You know what I mean?
Right, like, that's kinda sad that the 15-year-old didn't know that that's the case and that you have to go buy a bucket of steam. Also, steam needs to like, it would turn into condensation, right? Like, it wouldn't stay
Mm-hmm.
steam unless it's hot.
Mm, mm,
Like, so there's a
mm.
lot of things. I wouldn't have fell for it, but I get what you're saying.
So some do not, and some do, and I feel like
Right.
that it's like, you know, some people might get frustrated. Most of the time, the person that has been hazed by that specific joke, they have fun with it. They laugh. You know what I mean?
I get
Technically,
what you're saying
it gives
because
them a
sometimes
break. They're
in
out
a
of the
way
pastry, you know,
in a way,
shop.
it's another way of
They're
saying
walking
you're
around.
shaming a person, right? Because you're kind of
Mm,
you're shaming them because they didn't know something and you made them realize it in a way that was difficult, not like in an easy way, or you didn't
yeah,
explain it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, so it is a form of shaming, I think. And I think, that's something that traditionally, like, yeah, if you see someone doing something wrong, it's so much easier to just go ahead and shame them for it. And sometimes it's the right thing to do, more or less, because, like, some behavior, if someone's especially doing it like in a way that's like, willful, perhaps, shaming sometimes works. But I think, like, again, in the spirit of like Star Trek, like, to me, I like the idea that, like, yeah, even though they were being hazed, I think that the lower deckers at the end were like assuming the most positive intent of this got real deep real fast. They were assuming the positive intent at the end, because I think that, like, that's a good attitude to have. But also I think that, like, in general, I try my best, because I do it. Don't get me wrong. I definitely bully, shame, and haze a little and tease, but
Outrageous.
because it's something that
Me, for example, right?
outrageous, outrageous. Yeah, I
Me,
tease you
right? You're always
I'm
teasing me.
constantly teasing
I
you.
can't tweet.
Did you
I
see
can't
my
tweet. I
tweet,
bloody
by the
tweet
way?
without
Did you
getting
see it?
retweet.
Did you see my latest retweet of your twat
Yes.
about the Cardassians? You didn't
Ah.
even like it. I thought you would find that hilarious. But
Sometimes I
that's
do
a
laugh,
great
but I don't hit the like. But yeah, you're
okay.
always you're like the Twitter haze.
I am a hazer. I haze you. It's true.
No,
But I thought I had your
the
permission to
X.
do
You're
it.
the X haze.
Obviously a complicated situation, but now I'm trying more and more
See, it depends
not
on the
to
context of
do
like
it.
the individuals and the relationship that they have too. You know what I mean? You wouldn't just outright quote twat with your haze anyone. You know what I mean?
No, I wouldn't do that to anyone. Maybe, but I definitely would do it to you because I have your permission, I
So
feel
the
like.
point I was kind of coming to is that in the specific example that I gave, there is a lesson to be learned. Now you said we teach the lesson in a more difficult way than is necessary. I will grant you that. But in this specific episode of Lower Decks, I think there was no lesson to be learned. I don't think there was any particular growth or lesson to be learned from that particular hazing. I think that there could have been hazing in a way that was like, okay, it'll teach you this or that element of the job, but I don't think there was one, unless like really it is just perseverance. But that's kind of cringe because like all of Starfleet is always perseverance. You know what I mean? Like it's a tough job
Yeah, it is pretty
for
tough.
anyone on that ship. You know what I mean?
No, it's true. Um,
I agree.
and Jill's right. It was basically just torturing them for sport,
I
and that's
agree.
totally
And the
true.
guy he put on like the waterworks and everything, he was like going, he was like he's like an Oscar, you know what I mean? He's an Academy Award winning actor. This guy, he's making them
I
feel
was
so bad.
sorry I don't have visuals like I did last time. I apologize for that. It was kind of a busy day over here in the Starfleet Sohail land. But what did you think of Corizonia, the ring plant, the ring kind of
It's
that was
Halo.
yeah, it is
It's
Halo, right? But
Halo.
now that I guess since they're both Paramount Plus, it doesn't matter. You can you can totally have like it. But yeah, what did you think of all that? What did you think of the planet? Like I think
I
Dr. Freeman.
wanted to see a Spartan, like a Halo
Like
Spartan. I wanted to see
maybe there's one
like
hidden in the
a
background.
Halo Warthog or like a Halo reference. I wanted to see something like that. But that I'm not gonna bash the episode for not including that. That's ridiculous. But no, I very much like it's Halo, but it's also Interstellar. I think Interstellar did a Halo
No,
type
they had these things, I
ring.
forget what they're called, but they were more of a cylindrical shape that would orbit a star.
Oh,
And
okay.
then, of course, we know from TNG, we have a Dyson sphere, which is a sphere that completely encapsulates a star. This is just a ring that goes around a star. And
Mm.
imagine this ring is in the habitable zone. So it's the distance that it's at least the distance you would have
Massive.
from a star to like the Earth, depending on the size of the star. So
So
imagine how massive this ring is.
it
It's
would be
insane.
more like habitable space than on a planet, I would assume, right?
Way more habitable
Mm.
space. You're talking about like yeah, and that ring was pretty thick too. It was
The ring was pretty thick. All right.
like
Okay.
the Halo Dyson. I forget what they're called. There's like a technical name for these things, but um
Thick
and
rings. Thick rings is
thick
good. That's
rings, like these thick rings that go around stars. Jill has another good question here. How does it maintain atmosphere? So many questions. Well, I imagine that it's rotating, so there would be centrifugal
science. Come on.
centrifugal force at play, and so maybe that creates
Mm.
the necessary, uh, kind of conditions to maintain an atmosphere
Mm.
or a shield. There's this big. Oh, you saw the thing spinning around
The
it,
ring
like there
has
was.
suction.
there, yes, it does, or something. It has something, but there's the
It's got something going
more.
on.
We insert techno babble here, but yeah, I imagine that that's the case. But Captain Freeman says that the ring is actually millions of years old and was
That's so cool.
abandoned by the original civilization that created it,
Mm.
and then
So
these
this is like a
Corazonians
Risa type
are
people, right?
inhabiting.
They remind
Like
me
they're
of like
just yeah,
chilling.
well, they're completely chilling. They're just doing art, basically,
They're
and
Halo and chilling.
Exactly,
This is
Jill.
the kind of community that I appreciate. You know what I mean? Like they're not interested in like you know going to war or any of that. Like they're not even interested. They're just making art. You know what I mean? They're being creative. They're having a nice time. You know what I mean? It's
But
they got nice weather. They can go to like a mountain peak if they want to climb it. They can go to the beach if they want to go. Like that. That seems like a nice place to me. I wouldn't mind being run by Vexilon. Know what I mean?
which is different from other computers we've seen in Star Trek, where sometimes these great computers that run planets, they're not so nice. Like, remember that episode in TNG where the computer was causing radiation problems? The computer
Mm.
that ran their planet was causing radiation, and it prevented them from being able to have children, and they kidnapped. Am I mixing two episodes of TNG together?
I forget.
But
I
then
don't know. I
but
would
then
have
of
gone.
course,
I would have gone to the original series for like computers
well,
running
yeah, there's
societies.
also
But
examples. There's Landru, of course, on from the original series, and then there's that planet that had the two planets that were warring with each other, and a computer was deciding who died based because it was all
mm,
simulated wars, but then the deaths
that's
had to be
that's the
real.
Kirk
So
speech,
yeah,
isn't it? Isn't that the speech about war?
I think
Death,
yeah, that's
destruction,
like
disease. Is that it?
I think so.
You've made it
Yeah.
so easy.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've seen that one, but yeah, exactly. So here in this case, Vexilon is a benevolent computer, and it's almost like I like how the computer's like, oh, I'm so embarrassed that I'm having all these issues, and
He's a
thank you
bit
for coming
naive,
here.
and he like he was a
It's
bit.
he's a
He's
bit he's a bit self
he's
self
cute. I like
effacing,
him.
perhaps. Yeah,
I like
yeah.
the twist. I like the twist that he's not an evil, AI computer thing. Especially like in the current like climate of the world where everyone's freaking out about AI. Like the show shows you this episode where like this sentient computer, he's just running things and he's not being mean. You know what I mean? There are things happening where once they start messing with this programming or trying to fix them, like then there's all of these temperature changes and the climate's all fucked up, but he's not doing it on purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he just needed a software update.
They even got
Where's
like
the
a
software
Windows
update?
blue screen
If the
at one
original
point.
designers disappeared into the fifth dimension, as Vexilon said, like 6 million plus years ago, who's making the software
That
updates? That
is an amazing point. I didn't think of that at all. That is completely true. Where is this coming from? Did they
I
pre-program updates? In that case, why not just do them immediately? That is
could there
stupid.
be another AI that just writes the programming, and that AI creates updates into infinity? Like, so the two AIs like work together. In other
Okay,
words,
okay, hold on. No. He is AI, right? The
yeah,
Vexilon,
Vexilon.
but
They
he's
are
let
AI. We,
they
we don't
are
know their
okay.
yeah.
Let's put it this way: Vexilon, continuously grows and like betters themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually, there's like an auto update that needs to happen, or like they create their own update. Does that make sense? Can that happen? No way.
No, that could have. I agree. In fact, that's not outside of a concept that's coming up right now, where I think in some cases these large language models, or even these, there's another type of AI called a agent, which is going to be even more useful than the large language models, because those will be able to do stuff like kind of like what Vexilon does. Anyways, I think there have been cases where they're designing them so that the agents can improve their own code. So it's
Hmm.
like they can just like on the fly
But in,
write
in this specific
code or
case,
whatever.
Vexilon was unable to apply that update for whatever like they needed a defrag. You know what I mean? Like
Well, Vexilon didn't do the update for like 6 million years, it looks like. So yeah, Vexilon forgot to update themselves. Maybe
Vexilon was just
because,
killing too.
and it's possible that the updates didn't occur because Vexilon couldn't figure out a way to restart themselves. They needed some. Oh yeah,
Mm.
that is what it is, because these guys,
There's a manual element that needs to be kind of like
right, and the Corazonians, as Jill pointed out, they're squatters. They moved in and they have no skills. They don't know how to fix the computer, right? Like so like that's why they called in Starfleet to help. So yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it sounds like. Wow, we just figured it out. That's great.
So on an ethical in an ethical discussion, did they ask Vexilon? You would have to ask this AI, right? Because there's no salvage claim going on here. It's not just a piece of technology. It's a
Vexilon seemed
sentient.
pretty aware that that
So there
its
must have been a
original.
discussion, right? Like,
Yeah, it looks
yo,
like
we're gonna
they've been
settle
chilling
here.
there
What do you
for like
think?
million. Yeah,
Vexilon's like,
they've been
yeah, I'm
chilling there
okay
for
with it.
like yeah, I think so. They've been chilling there for a long time, this civilization, the Corzonians. So at some point they must have arrived and Vexilon was probably alone. Like imagine, your creators leave, right? Kind of an Armis situation, right? They leave you. You're alone on this
Okay, but
planetary ring.
Amos wasn't nice.
No, I know. Vexilon stayed nice, but you know what I mean? Like Vexilon's
Amos
all
was
alone.
never
So
nice.
I would imagine if I were Vexilon that I would jump at this chance to provide, services again, because that's kind of your primary core
What is my purpose?
purpose. Yeah, exactly. Like it's true. It's true. But audience, for those of you who are still tuned in, what did you think of Vexilon and would you that's a good question from earlier. Would you like a world where a benevolent computer did all the stuff that humans didn't want to do, so that you could just like kind of chill and like live, without having to worry about going to work? Vexilon does all the labor for you. Vexilon, basically, you can just pursue leisure and art and maybe, self improvement in other ways. So yeah. So you say yes, you would like that. I actually think I have to say that I think I would enjoy it
You enjoy the
too.
struggle. Oh no, you enjoy.
No, I would enjoy. I think I would enjoy it too. I mean, like, part of me enjoys the struggle, but I mean, I've struggled for 47 years. I'm not that
Yeah,
old yet. Sorry,
you're over the
45
struggle.
years. I'm over the
You've
struggle.
had the
I'm ready
struggle.
to.
I've
Yeah,
seen it. You know, I've
I
experienced
see.
it. It's okay. I'll take a break
I
now. You
can't
know what I mean?
believe I aged myself up. 45 years.
I'll have a lie down. You know, I have a sit down now and just chill out. No, I
Yeah,
think it'd
no,
be
but
nice.
then I
It'd be
could just do
nice.
like fun stuff, and
Yeah, we could
like
stream. You
we
know what I
could
mean?
stream, we could do
Just
a lot
talk
of other
about.
things, travel, like um write books, like all kinds of
Yeah,
fun things.
travel
Yeah.
the. It's pretty cool to see like horizons and landscapes and stuff. But like it would be pretty cool to go around the halo and see
Right.
like where you live, but from the other side. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool.
Imagine a road trip on the Halo. That would take like a long time.
Take as long as you want,
Wow.
baby. Vexilon's taking care of it. You know what I mean?
Someone do the math. Someone could do the math. It's pretty cool. Commodore Trev's here. Nothing wrong with being 47, or so I keep telling myself. You're in your Star Trek year. I forgot about that. Happy 47. That's the magic number in Star Trek. So yeah. Very, very cool. Yes, I don't think there's anything wrong with being 47. I look forward to the day. I still have 1 year to go. Oh no,
There's nothing
I'm in
wrong with
my
being
40.
48 too. Like, let's not offend anyone here.
Holy crap. I said I was 45, but I'm actually 46, Toddy. I'm going to be 47 this year in May.
It's
Is this my,
crazy.
hold on a second. Siri, how long ago was 1978?
It was 45 years ago.
Oh no, I'm 45. I don't know what's wrong with it.
So, okay. My birthday
I'm going to
was
turn
yesterday.
46. What's that?
My birthday was yesterday.
Did I not wish you a happy birthday?
No,
I
because
did
everyone
not.
gets all
Oh
caught up
yeah.
with First Contact Day. See,
I
my
know, in
birthday was
the
supposed to
Discovery
be
premiere.
when First Contact was supposed to happen, but then they screwed it up, and then it happened the day after. So you know
The
what?
day after.
But
Toddy, happy
that's fair.
birthday. I'm
That's
so
fair.
sorry I missed
They
your
were like, you know
birthday.
what? Toddy was born. We'll leave that day for him. We'll have First Contact the next day. That's okay.
Let me write this
Um,
down.
and yeah.
funny.
Anyway, the point is, I am 32, and I kept on getting confused between 31 and 32. I'm always confused about that.
I think after a certain age, you just kind of forget what year. It's
all
like
meaningless.
It's
Time
whatever.
is the fire in which we burn.
I rather think of time as a companion.
Thank you, everyone.
But yeah, happy birthday, Toddy. Oh my god, I can't believe that. What a bad I'm such a bad friend
It's
this
terrible.
year. The
Absolutely
worst.
dreadful. Outrageous. You know
gosh.
what I mean?
I'm so embarrassed I'm like Vexilon. I'm so embarrassed right now. My database didn't. I needed a reboot. But look, you're getting a lot of happy birthday wishes. How
Yeah,
sweet is that?
thank you so much.
And happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. What did you do to celebrate, or what are you doing to celebrate?
We'll probably do something this weekend though, like later on. But we had a little cake and everything.
All right, I'm gonna ask Starfleet Command to intervene and see if I could get something to you,
Oh,
or we'll figure something out. It'll be
send
nice.
me
But yeah,
a one of those boxes with the face on it. What was it called that we had in this episode?
the Betazoid treasure
Yeah,
box or whatever it
that's it.
is.
Send me
Yes,
a Betazoid treasure box.
I loved the. So let's move forward, and we talked enough about Vexilon, and I'm glad we talked about your birthday, but let's move forward to that plot. So what did you think of that whole scenario and like the Lower Decks is famous for popping in references to previous Trek or Easter eggs or whatever. So but I like the way this kind of like tied in. What did you think of like the anomaly
it's like the
room?
prop
Yeah.
room basically, right? It's like
Yeah,
the
exactly.
leftover room at over at Viacom CBS. They have this prop room. I like it. I like it. I liked the way it was introduced. It feels natural, to have these little Easter eggs and these little references. It's world building, right? Basically, but it feels natural that it's there. I don't know why all of this shit and all of this junk is just lying in like the Cerritos of all places. But I guess they are common items. You know what I mean? It's not nothing real. It's not a one-off. And I like the way that it played into the end of the episode, where they use it all together, to try and trap. What was the guy, like the hazer
Oh, I
man?
forget his name. Here, let me pull it up while you keep going. But yeah, he's been on the show before. He's the guy who's like, move along, Lower Decker or whatever. Remember in the first season, and he and Ransom seem to be pals too.
Well, the
Are you
pals at the
looking?
end of this episode. I'm trying to look through the the
I
episode
was
here. I
gonna
got it
pull.
on screen. So okay, so the only thing that I'm not the biggest fan of, but I guess this is my Deep Space Nine PTSD, is the game. I don't like that episode, and I don't like the the fact that they have to go through like the maze and what have you. And so bringing that back wasn't necessarily a win for me. Like I get that it's a kind of a joke episode that like we've mocked over the years, but I don't think it's of the quality to be brought back. So, but yeah. But I like the way Rutherford just like skips it all.
Breezes through
He
it.
runs through it. There's even like one of the guys is disappointed, like, oh, you know what I mean? Because he was gonna do his thing in his room, and Rutherford's like, he just runs through.
I love that episode of DS9.
Is it
I don't
called
know
Run
why.
Along Home? Was it? What's it called?
Move along home.
Move Along
Move
Home.
along
It's
home. Yeah.
terrible.
And I like the Mariners, like it's either lemon meringue or, or she doesn't know it's Alan meringue. She's like, what was
Alan
it?
Moraine. Lemon meringue, baby.
but yeah, that was really funny how the Bajoran box was repeating things that others had said, and then and it's and Tendy's like, I didn't know Dr. Tayana's been in here because it says something about MFers or whatever. It's like, but yeah, I like the the story that the commander made up, or the guy made up, who's in charge, about how he was stuck in the game for 2 months because he wasn't smart enough to figure it out.
What a performance! You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
believed it.
like,
He gave it everything.
you hear Teddy's like, oh no. It's like it was like the perfect way to pull it
Tendi
out.
gets very invested in like what happens to people. You know what I mean?
It's true, Jill. We'll be reviewing that episode in just a few weeks because we're about to start our discussions of Deep Space Nine as soon as
Oh
we
wow!
finish. Yeah, we're almost finished with the animated series. After this weekend, we only have one episode to go, and then we start our Deep Space Nine
That's a
discussions.
bloody rough season one, I'll tell you that.
It's not that bad. It's actually got a lot of good episodes. If
You're
I
gonna
recall
see
correctly.
there's the argument between Picard and Cisco, which is always fun.
What did you think of like the isolinear chip room and the whole thing with like scanning each one manually, and then there's another
So
layer and all that stuff?
maybe my opinion on like the quality of the hazing affected my opinion of that room, but I feel like that room is ridiculous. Like it feels like a prank room. You know what I mean? It's not a room. In my opinion, it's a holodeck, right? And he just holodecked the room, to have all of these chips just to troll them. Like this can't be a real thing. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
I thought it was great.
I don't know much about the mechanics of the USS Cerritos. I've never worked on it, to be fair. But it doesn't seem like a logical thing to me. You think it's good?
I think it's good.
It's so stupid though. And then there's the
I loved
second
it.
row behind it.
And then
Why?
Lancelot's in there, like like running around. I loved Lancelot too. I
And
should
then
have worn my
they're
Lancelot
hot.
shirt.
It's too hot.
It's too hot. Plus, you have to
They
wear
can't. They
the
can't. And
mask because
plus
it
the
helps
mask.
you
What is this room? We can't develop anything to like cool them down. Can't cool the chips down. What the hell? It's
I think it's the
ridiculous.
intentional hazing room.
It's got to be a
Maybe.
holodeck. And then you create the hazing program that you want, right? Like that's got to be. It's like on a slow day, you don't need the lieutenants, so you don't need the lower deckers. Like you don't need them to do anything. It's just like send them in the haze room. You know what I mean? Have
What
some
did you
fun with
think
it.
of like they're promoted, so they're thinking they're gonna get cooler jobs to do, but they end up getting like the same kinds, just different kinds of shitty jobs to do
That's very
than when they were
relatable.
ensigns.
That's very relatable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Lower Decks continues to be
Because
very relatable
I
for
have worked
working people.
for years as like just I guess employee. Now I'm kind of in like middle management. You know what I mean? You start going to I'm closing in on the upper. It's all the same. Like everyone's doing the same boring ass tasks, just on a different level, basically, right? Like you sound cooler because you got that title or whatever it is, but it's the same thing. You're doing the same thing. Like the
Yeah, it's
captain's the
true.
captain. Captain's a boss. You know what I mean? Captain's But
The
come on,
captain is the true boss.
the
I
true
love Captain
boss.
Freeman. I would love to serve under Captain Freeman. I think she's a pretty cool captain. She can get a little high strung sometimes and a little a little carried away, but I kind of enjoy it.
I do think that like she would be very adaptable to like a different setting, like a different show, like a live action show or like a non-comedic show. I think she would work pretty well in that. I don't know how well Ransom would work in that setting, but the captain would work well.
I like that scene where skipping back to the planet for a second, but I like that scene where in the beginning when they're meeting the delegation of Corazonians, where Ransom's like critiquing their art, and he's like, "There's just nothing. It's just like bad."
That
It's
is
like so
so
funny.
good. That is so good. It's like, oh yeah, well, you're really creatively no, but those are our those are our good sculptures. Oh, okay. Oh, it's the same thing. It flips it. It's the same thing. The true art is the commentary made by the show, right? I also can relate to Captain Freeman, like wanting to do like
The computer thing
the thing
herself.
herself. Like I can relate to that. It's like, yeah, she could bring down someone else to do it. Doesn't have to do it herself, even if it's
Well,
not about.
She does bring Billups in eventually, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
like even if it's not about getting your hands dirty, even if it's like about bringing in someone that has like that specific expertise, because like engineers and technicians, they have a specific set of skills. You know what I mean? They're the Liam Neesons of the world, but but no, I can relate with the fact that she wants to do it herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same.
And it's
Yeah,
not
no.
about control or micromanagement or anything. It's just because, she wants to do that. Sometimes you want to keep on doing things.
I'm really mad at IMDb because it says rest of cast and crew, but there's clearly not the rest of the cast. Oh, Dirk. I think I think the officer's name was
Have you
Dirk.
been searching for him this whole time?
I have. You got to know
It's
their
crazy. You're like
name.
hazing yourself. That's crazy.
What I don't want to be called hashtag not pro, right? Like we want to hashtag
Yeah, that's
so
very
pro.
true. That's
Right?
crazy.
Like, it's true. Um, so let's talk about Boimler now and his crew of ensigns and provisional lieutenant junior grade Tallinn and that whole sequence. What were your thoughts on that?
That I loved. That I liked that a lot more
Boss
than the
Boimler.
yeah. I so of course it's always pushed a little bit to the exaggeration because it's lower decks and what have you. But like no, it makes sense that Boimler would be in this situation. Again, I myself like I can relate to like the kind of like I know how to do this, but you have to let other people. You have to trust them. Even if they make a mistake, you have to kind of like just live and learn, right? Like if they make a mistake, then they'll learn from that mistake, and that's how they'll get better. If you keep on like coddling them basically and not letting them do the work and not letting them advance, then it's not good for anyone. Because in the long run, they're not learning. These people aren't learning. In the long run, you're not helping yourself because then you're going to have to do everything yourself. Yeah. So it,
Yeah, and
it, it
it's
makes sense to me, and I like. See, the only thing I can't relate to is having like basically Vulcan commentary on the side. You know what I mean? But I love the
that would be
fact that
if I were like
everything
if
Boimler's
I were
doing,
with you,
he's got
that's
like
what I would.
yeah,
It's
he
true.
would provide
That's
the
what me.
Vulcan
I would do
commentary.
the Vulcan commentary.
It's like a Vulcan judgment going on.
I love the way that the actress who plays Tallinn, Gabrielle Ruiz, voices Tallinn, and just like the deadpan kind of like very,
She was a little
monotone.
robotic in this episode, but it still
I
works.
liked I still yeah, it works for me too. But I love that she's like, what is it? Injury and or death. Like it's like or whatever.
Yeah,
It's like there's a degree of like the how like remember when Savick in Star Trek 3 tells Captain Kirk like and she's just like Admiral David is dead. Like it's just like very like matter of fact and like unemotional, if you will. And Tallinn kind of reminded me of that. And then also when Boimler dies and like falls in front of them, she like everyone's like freaking out and like super emotional, and she's like, "Well, it looks like the statistic of first time mortality rates or whatever for lieutenant junior grades held up." It's like there's
she's
no
doing
like
research.
she's
You know what I
doing-
mean? It's
it
like, oh
was
well, the
like
stats
super
are
going
right.
on.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. You know what I mean?
And Toddy, we got a little glimpse. We got through Boimler, we got to see the what happens when you die. We saw the Black Mountain. Like he
It
appeared in
was the
this room,
koala.
and then the koala was like, "No, it's not your time yet." Like, but it's some weird like language. But we saw the Black Mountain. Remember, Shax was talking about the Black Mountain and in the background and stuff. Boimler didn't get so far where he had to fight versions of himself or his father or whatever it is that Shax, all the other things that Shax said you had to go through. But that was kind of a fun thing, and it was.
So
I think that was like a little homage to David Lynch because it reminds me of like kind of like Blue Velvet or one of. I don't think you've ever seen. Have you seen Blue Velvet?
No.
There's like a scene that kind of that kind of is reminiscent of that with like backwards talking and a
No.
room similar to that vibe, I guess.
I don't quite know if this is because I think the only time we've ever talked about what comes after death in Star Trek, apart from this, is Neelix, right? Neelix dies in Voyager.
Oh, did I miss that episode?
Maybe, but Neelix. So basically, Neelix dies in Voyager, and in his belief system, in like the Talaxian belief system, he's supposed to, I think, meet up with all his family from the family tree, or it's something like very special like that. And he's very frustrated, and his entire belief system is broken when he wakes back up because they revive him after I don't know, it's like 3 hours or something. And there was nothing, and he's frustrated because it's like it was all black, right? It was nothing. It was like going to sleep and there's nothing, and he has a whole breakdown over that. It's very emotional. It's a pretty good episode actually. it's like a Neelix centered episode, but it's not about the usual Neelix shenanigans. It's really about like the spirituality of death and how one handles it, and facing the reality of I guess how those creators of Star Trek decided to interpret what comes after. And then so I
Jill
don't
saying,
know.
"OMG, it's a can't miss episode." What
Oh, there you
season?
go.
What is the episode called? Do you remember?
I don't know. Just write Neelix dies.
Maybe I'll watch it tonight at some point before.
Well, yeah,
before
I wonder
breakfast
how
and
that kind of like connects with the fact that this koala is so. I don't know. I don't know how they could integrate that. Is it canon that there's a black mountain and a koala when you die,
obviously now it is.
or is that just a particular vision that
Well, Shax, who's a Bajoran, experienced it, and now Boimler, who's human, experienced it. And we've seen the koala before when people ascend to another plane. So the koala is something. The koala is definitely canon. This is such a fun, out of context. Imagine this like snippet. The koala is definitely canon. It's like, what the heck?
Mortal Coil? That's right. Everyone's
Mortal
saying
Coil.
Mortal
Oh, thanks,
Coil.
guys.
Episode 12, season 4. So that's
The
pretty much.
audience beat you to it.
Yeah, that's about the time where you were like, no, I'm gonna pretend like I'm watching Voyager, but I'm skipping through it.
No, what happened to me, Toddy?
No,
as you
because
may,
Seven's arrived in season 4,
it's
so you
season
should be
4,
watching.
episode 12. I know, but what happens? I have to rewatch Voyager again from scratch in the
Jesus.
daytime, because what happens is I watch it at night before bed, and then if I fall asleep, you know how it keeps playing. So I didn't realize I've missed like many episodes. So I've half-assed or half asleep watched Voyager, and I have to watch it in waking life. So I'm gonna start again from scratch. But I want to also finish this half-assed journey so that I could just say I finished Voyager once at least. But I guess it's not really a finish. Whatever.
Doesn't count.
I'll get
Know
through
what
it.
I
I
mean?
promise.
It doesn't
I'll get through
count.
it. I watched Enterprise 20 years after it aired, so I've already done that. So it's might as well watch Voyager too. I kind of like the idea that there's Star Trek I haven't seen. I might leave one episode unwatched forever. Just pick an episode of Voyager that I could just not watch and it'd be okay. And I'll skip that one. That way I always have one episode of Star Trek that I've never
That's not
seen.
good though. I'm gonna pick one that's like a good episode that you should see. And then you're
That I
gonna have to
shouldn't
live
see,
with
you're
the
saying.
fact that I know that you should, and then you're gonna live with the fact that you haven't seen that one episode, and then you can like save it for like that special day where you know what, I'm gonna watch that good episode of Voyager.
That's a good idea. All right. Well, you figure it out for me because I know Voyager is one of your favorite series. So, all right. So
I
anything else?
understand what you're saying though, because technically, like I watch, even though I'm a little late on Lower Decks, but I watch the Star Trek as it comes out. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, there's no new Star Trek out there. For a while there, it was like I hadn't seen the animated series. Before I started the channel, I had seen the animated series. I was like, oh, that's cool. I get to see new Star Trek. It was old, but it was new. You know what I mean? And then I kind of binged through like the animated series before I started the channel, and it was great. Maybe that's why it was like one of my best experiences with Star Trek. I love the animated series. And maybe it's because
I wish you had been on our discussions more. It's a shame we don't have it at a good time for you to come on.
It's all right. I still love it. I don't need you to validate my love for the animated series.
Wow, I wasn't suggesting such a thing, Toddy. Dang. Jill says, and Jill's absolutely right. You can't claim you watched it if you were asleep most of the time.
False claims. Fake news.
Claims, it's true. I have to go back and revise my tweets.
It's not fake news, it's fake views.
Fake views. And then Faces is the episode Jill suggesting I do not watch. And then I stopped watching for 2 months after Faces. Wow. Okay.
Holy shit. What episode is that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wow, that reaction.
Yeah.
I'm not a completionist yet.
It's
I can't claim
interesting how like when you're younger, you like things, and then when you're older, when there's like I guess more context or comprehension that applies to it, sometimes your opinion changes on things. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
There you go.
Indeed, no, that's totally. It happens. People
Mm.
can change their mind. It happens in Star Trek sometimes as well. People change. It's true.
Mm. Mm.
Anything else about the Boimler scenes that we wanted to talk about?
The physical comedy, because like the fact, like the faces that Boimler pulls, like the him running, and like it's always, I like the physical comedy, and I just like the
Sorry, I have to laugh at this. You don't know what Action So Hail is yet because you haven't seen Discovery, episode 1 and 2 of
Action
season 5.
Sahel.
Yeah, so there's another version of me called Action So Hail. You'll see when you'll remember.
Is it the return of Sahil?
No. It's just
Okay.
Action. Just remember that Action So Hail, and you'll see when you watch
I'll
Discovery.
see.
But I love
I'll know what
that
it is.
Sleeping So Hail is the mirror universe version of Action So Hail. That's true.
I'll recognize it. I know what it is.
Yeah, you'll know exactly. You'll go, ha! That's what I predict. When you're watching Disco, you'll hear this reference, and then you'll be like, ha!
Okay.
And then maybe you'll be Action Toddy. Who knows?
So you think it'll be an out loud reaction too, like
I like that the Kazinti character had more to do in this episode, and also Big Merp and what was the name of the Meredith? There was these like, now they're all ensigns, right? So we got to meet like kind of the lower deckers now, like the new lower deckers, if you will. So wait, is Star Trek Lower Decks changed now that they're not ensigns for you? Like, do you think? I mean, of course, the show's going to still be called Lower Decks, but do you see them as lower deckers anymore? Because they're still in the lower decks. They're just not the lowest deck, I guess.
Yeah. It hasn't changed for me at the moment. Like I still see them as lower deckers. Yeah.
And in fact, this mirrors its inspiration
I'm gonna
source,
be
right?
very mean, actually. Like to me, everyone lower decker is like not bridge crew, basically.
It's kind of true, right? No,
Because
but
like usually the shows focus on the bridge crew, and then they have other people doing things to like enhance or help the action of the bridge crew. In this show, the dynamic is more about the people that help the bridge crew. You know what I mean? And so that's the kind of vibe I'm coming with. But yeah.
indeed. Yeah, I agree. I was just kind of musing. But you know what's interesting is that I just kind of thought about this, but this whole progression kind of mirrors the episode Lower Decks on TNG, because at the end, don't they get promotions?
One of them dies, don't they, in Lower Decks?
Yeah, Laval gets well, people have died in Lower Decks, the
So
animate,
yeah, but
and
is
they
it
come
one of
back.
our 4 that's gonna die?
No, Boimler just died in this episode.
No, but at the end of the show, to mirror the episode, the original
Oh,
episode.
I don't think it's gonna be that
You don't
dark.
think they're gonna do that?
I
That
don't
would be
think so.
dreadful.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it would.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, no,
horrible.
no, let's not.
Imagine they kill Mariner. Like she goes through all of this thing. You know what I mean? Like
No,
this
no, I
whole
don't. I can't
growth,
imagine that.
and then they're
No,
like,
no,
"Let's just
no.
kill her." You know what I mean? I mean,
No,
life sometimes is unkind like that.
this is true, but our fiction doesn't have to be.
That's true. Make fiction kind, people.
Not our Lord. I love them all too much. No, but certainly it does mirror, because I think what Laval gets Cito's promotion, right? Because she was going to be the one that got promoted probably, and then he gets it. So yeah, and Nursogawa gets a promotion too, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
I have to watch the episode again. I have such a bad memory because there's so much Star Trek. Did you see that chart that shows how much Star Trek there is compared to other franchises?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I saw that go by in the Twitter feed. I was like, "What? What?
That's
Yo,
amazing.
Star Wars got some catching up to do, yo."
Yeah,
That's
a lot
crazy.
of catching up. No, it's true.
It doesn't
It's
count when
true.
you release books, Star Wars. You're releasing all these books and games all the time. It doesn't count. It's not. It's
Star Wars is
the same
catching up
thing.
though. They've got a lot of shows coming out, and animated shows and things like that. So, I mean, well, they're not going to catch up because Star Trek's still going on, but you know, they're getting more heft in their franchise as well.
Mm.
All right, and then let's see. Yeah, I think it's interesting. You know, both Mariner and Boimler are they have their challenges, I think. And in this episode, we saw definitely Boimler overcoming his challenge, which I really liked as well. When will Trek surpass Doctor Who is the question Jill's asking. That's hard to say because Doctor Who ain't pausing anytime, Jill. So Doctor Who's inventory keeps going up as well. So I'm not sure. Which, by the way, the new Doctor Who comes out on my birthday.
It doesn't release as much new stuff as like Star Trek or Star Wars releases.
But it still has quite a lead. If you think about it, I think it's got, let's see, how many episodes of Doctor Who?
So it's got a lead, but it's not progressing as fast at the moment, right? But aren't they releasing like a spin-off show actually of like Doctor Who or something?
Star Trek might have more episodes than Doctor Who already.
Okay.
If this is correct, there's like roughly 700 episodes of Doctor Who. And if that's the case, Star Trek's already got him beat.
Boom.
Boom, mic drop.
How'd you feel about that, Doctor?
Oh, here we go. Who only has 875? So that's not too far away.
Only, you know.
And
Firefly has 13.
Is that true? There's only 13 episodes of Firefly? I didn't realize that.
14, my bad. 14 episodes of Firefly. Plus a movie. Oh, they got a movie.
What haven't we covered about this episode? I think we got everything, right?
I think so.
So we're coming up to the hour, so we can kind of wrap up the discussion. I just really, I'll say my closing thoughts and just say that I really was delighted by this episode. I just think it's a good, solid, fun episode of Lower Decks. Not too crazy, but even though Boimler does die and comes back to life, but I laughed a lot watching it. There were a lot of great gags and just again, it was pretty solid. So,
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna give it a 10.
Of course,
it's gonna maintain its 10.
It's maintaining its 10. It's maintaining
or 9. We'll give it a 9. We'll give it a 9. There.
Oh, he gives it a 9.
We didn't say anything critique. We didn't have any critiques about it, did we?
I do.
Oh, go.
The hazing isn't. I did want to say that one concept that I very much enjoyed and that I don't think I've seen ever before is freezing clouds. The clouds freeze and then they fall.
Yeah.
And that visual gag was great to me, but also just the concept of like a cloud flash freezing and then falling on your face. I mean, it's just terrifying. You know what I mean?
It is kind of terrifying, actually, now that you're mentioning it. Wow.
So yeah, it's amazing that no one got dreadfully crushed.
Today's a rare day here in Miami. There has not been a cloud in the sky all day. It's crazy.
Is that worrying though in Miami? Like, doesn't that announce like something terrible? Like when there's no
clouds? It means like we had a couple of days of rain because of a pressure system or whatever, and now a cold front has moved in. So it's like the wind just scrubs the sky clean for like a day, and then the clouds come back.
An indication of like an arriving storm or like some sort of hurricane or some bullshit like that?
No, but they are predicting that this will be a busy hurricane season. So maybe this is like
when does that start?
Hurricane season starts in June or July here, and it ends in November.
Okay.
Or October.
It's pretty on the mark, or sometimes it'll happen like in April randomly.
Well, it's just like the range, but yeah, you can have hurricanes. Not in April, that would be unusual. But hey, there's a lot of I see constant news reports of unusual stuff happening that's not normal, like snowstorms in April when up north where they're not used to it at this time of year. There was an earthquake in New York today. Did you see that on the news?
No, I didn't hear about that. Oh,
yeah, it was an earthquake in the New York area. Our audience members, some of them felt it as well where they live outside of that area. So yeah, big deal.
Everyone's safe. Hope it wasn't a big deal. You know what I mean?
It was minor. Marcelo felt it. He was telling me he felt it too. It was minor. It wasn't like a big deal. But the other day there was an earthquake in Taiwan, as you saw, which wasn't minor. It caused quite a bit of damage. And so, yeah. This planet is very geologically active.
We're not as safe as the Halo, I'll tell you that.
But certainly, no, we're not as safe as the Halo. We don't have a computer like Vexilon. What do you give this episode, and any closing thoughts?
I might seem very strict here. I don't know if I'm going too intense. I'll give it just a 6. I think
Above
that
average, though.
yeah, above average. It's not
Yeah.
at all an unpleasant episode. I think I do expect a little more from Lower Decks. I think it played it a little safe. And there was that one storyline that I'm not convinced we needed necessarily, or we needed in that fashion. You know what I mean? But still, like, the animation is amazing, as always. The voice acting is impeccable. There's just so much to gush about and to say, to shill
Oh my
about.
god.
Let's
Oh my
shill.
gosh, sorry to interrupt you real quick, but Jill just felt an aftershock as we were speaking about it. Let's not speak about this earthquake anymore.
That's wild. We're
It's
earthquake
literally wild.
inducing. That's crazy.
Yeah, let's not. Vexilon, no. But sorry, carry on. And what were you saying?
No, I was just saying that I have my little critiques and my little complaints, but as usual, um, like these complaints are small in comparison to all the good that the episode delivers. But yeah, 6 is it's a little below what I would usually give Lower Decks episodes, I think. But there's always like one episode I've noticed in every season that I go a little lower. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
There was no Badgie though, so that's a win.
Hey, Badgie. Toddy, next week we're probably going to not be. Oh, we might actually. Let me think for a second. Yeah, I might, unless you could do it a little later. We're not going to be live, but we'll talk offline and maybe schedule a recording this week,
Okay.
so that we could put something out. Anyways, we'll do our best, audience. The next couple weeks are a little weird, but the week after this, I'll be able to definitely be live
What's
again.
the next
So
one?
it's called Something Borrowed, Something Green.
That's the Tendi one, right? Oh, that's really cool. I like that one.
Yeah. So looking forward to that.
Okay,
Where
come
can
on. You don't need to stereotype everyone as pirates. You know what I mean? I mean, come on.
Well, folks, stay safe out there. Don't forget to go check out Toddy's channel. I love that you're on with us. Thank you for coming back and taking the time. I know there's a bunch of folks that miss seeing you on lives, but also
It is my pleasure, and thank you
Yeah.
for finding like a time that accommodates my schedule. It's
I'll
very kind of
always
you.
try my best. I love hanging out with you, whether it's live with other people or just ourselves. So we'll make it so more often. Um, Anyways, don't forget to check out Toddy's channel. We'll be back again tonight after Text Trek, which is coming on at 8 p.m. Eastern time. They're going to do a deep dive of the latest, the premiere of Star Trek Discovery. And then tonight on the After Dark show, we'll talk about X-Men 97 and a bunch of other stuff that's going on, maybe these earthquakes that are going on as well. We really appreciate everyone coming on. Don't forget to smash the like button so we can confound the algorithm, and like and share as well, if you'd please. We'd really appreciate it. Live long and prosper, and we'll see you next
Vexilon.
time.
You know,
Vexilon.
Vexilon would help the algorithm, and everyone would see us. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
a shame they're not around to help us like that. It's
No, it's true.
ridiculous. Just
All right. Well, so long, and we'll see you.